Okay, let's begin saying the questions. The first question says, what is the thematic highlight of this passage? The first option goes because it says, in the absence of a strong biological linkage. The passage hasn't talked about the absence of a strong biological linkage and the relation of reciprocal roles. The passage says that even if biological linkages are there, reciprocal roles are much more important to provide the mechanism of coordinating human behavior. Option number 2. In the absence of reciprocal roles, biological linkage provide. This goes absolutely out because the passage is not talking about biological linkage providing the mechanism for coordinating human behavior. Number 3. Human behavior is independent of biological linkage as reciprocal roles. The passage has talked about it a little bit, but that's not the thematic highlight. The passage, when you summarize it, has talked about roles, reciprocal roles, and how it determines human behavior. Number 4. Human behavior depends on biological linkage and reciprocal roles. Absolutely rubbish. Number 5. Reciprocal roles determine normative human behavior in society. That's your right answer, because the passage has talked about reciprocal roles throughout, and when you read the second last paragraph, it clearly says that roles are of different kind, and this is very important to determine normative human behavior. You can take the example of the waitress in this connection. Question number 2. Which of the following would have been true if biological linkage structured human society? Number 1. The role of a mother would have been defined through her reciprocal relationship with her children. This goes out because this is something that depends on sociological base, not on biological linkage. Number 2. We would not have been offended by the father playing his role tongue in cheek. You can keep it for now because this seems fine. Yeah, in the absence of a social structure and in relation to the biological linkage, yes, we will not be offended by a father who is playing his role tongue in cheek and who is not serious about his duties of a father. Number 3. Women would have adopted and fostered children rather than giving birth to them. This is absolutely rubbish because this has nothing to do about biological linkage. Number 4. Even if warlords were physically weaker than their followers, they would still dominate them. This kind of shows the hierarchy but not the biological linkage. Number 5. Waiters would have stronger motivation to serve their customers. This is also not so much related to the passage. So we kept the second one, which goes absolutely fine. Here's the last question of this passage. It has been claimed in the passage that some roles are more absorbing than others. According to the passage, which of the following seems appropriate reasons for such a claim? Option number A. Some roles carry great expectations from the society, preventing manifestation of true self. Yes, that seems fine because the last paragraph says that some roles suppress their underlying self because they have a lot of responsibility from the society. For example, the role of a clergyman, as the passage has talked about. B. Society ascribes so much importance to some roles that the conception of self may get aligned with the roles being performed. So this is a kind of tricky option, because the content of the sentence is, however, similar to the first sentence. But the problem with this option is it talks about from the perspective of society, not from the perspective of roles being played. However, the passage is clearly talking about roles. We have to take the perspective from the role side, not from the society side. See, some roles require development of skills and expertise, leaving little time for manifestation of self. Okay, this is completely out of scope because the passage hasn't talked about development of skill and expertise at any point of time. So, you may think that A and B are the right options, but the right option is just A, because B hasn't talked about from the perspective, from the side of roles. That's why we are gonna eliminate B, and the right answer is the right answer is A only, which is option number 1.